I am not muted. I am a dumbass and I didn't plug my microphone in. It's fine. Everything's fine. This game supports an autosave feature. Special contents, options. Alright. Why would I want to play story mode? The fun part of Ace Attorney is doing the attorney. Sorry, I'm new to this one, so I'm poking around the menus. There's probably nothing in the special contents yet. It's probably like unlocks. Accolades, gallery, auditorium. Ooh, extra episodes. That's fun. Oh, alt outfits. Gosh, that's cool. Oh, that's such a cute outfit. Anyway. Alright. New game! Wow! Let's go. I'm just going off the first one.
The Empire of Japan. After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation. The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide.
That's cool. Oh. A man has been shot.
But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
Okay. I think that's my player character. Did I just shoot someone? The Adventure of the Great Departure. Bienvenue à la Carnaval. Apparently. 22nd November, 8:43 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. Defendant's Antechamber 5. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. How can it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate? Well, at least setting it in the past, as opposed to the nebulous present that most Ace Attorney games are set in. Ish. Anyway, they are waiting to decide my fate. Hello. What? Oh, no, nothing. Savior glares, murderer. Okay, I'm going with I did shoot someone. Or at least it looks like I shot someone. Sorry. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Harunodo. Why do I flip syllables like that? Anyway, I am a second-year student at the Imperial Yume University. 3 days ago, I found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. Yeah, a guy was shot! And now, here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough! He's not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer. Shonen protagonist asked lawyer. And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? Yes, and until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Technicalities. Look at you. You haven't even graduated yet. Oh, good. I'm getting a student lawyer. And yet, I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Right, Ryunosuke? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, no, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. There you go again, apologizing. Perfect, I can get into character. Because I apologize for absolutely nothing all the time. Just like always. Though, I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yume University professor murdered in cold blood by It was my teacher? Oh, that's a problem. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not! You have to believe me! I didn't do it! I could never murder someone! Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up. Hold your head high. You mean... I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryunosuke. Kazuma Asogi, my best friend. Also in his second year at Yume University. Surprise! Your friend is also in the same university. What? Anyway, but he's far more clever than I. A star student, in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive, considering he's still an undergraduate. It's not that impressive. Oh, can you read minds now? The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old. Here in Japan, anyway. My qualifications don't mean much. Yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma. Truly. 3 days ago. Oh, is that when the shot? Yes. That's when all this started. Haha, I am smart. Hopefully I am smart enough to lawyers. Congratulations, Kazuma. Looks like you're going to get to study abroad at last. I know, I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you, and proud as your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. I want to bring about a change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the street of Her Majesty's City of London together. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. I better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a while longer. You see, that was probably a dumb idea. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. And then he leaves. And then... it was straight after that. That's when it happened. Asogi, may I have a word? Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Well, this case has personal significance to me. But never mind that for now. Asogi, you should go immediately to the judge's chambers. Uh-oh. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. You advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision. Seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Well, who's this man? A marvelous question. I feel as though I've seen him at university before. I see. I'll go at once then. I shall accompany you. Alright then, Ryunosuke. I'll see you in the courtroom. Yeah, thanks, Kazuma. Awkward silence. Ugh, this is awkward. Oh, excellent. If I may? Yeah, sorry? You must be the defendant. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I just realized. The main character's, last name there is I see. Or I understand. Naruhodo. Oh my gosh, that's so dumb. I mean, Ace Attorney games aren't exactly known for their naming, but that's so dumb. Yes, yeah, that's right. My name is Yujin Mikotoba. I am a professor of forensic medicine at Yume University. Ah, Professor Mikotoba. I've heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Asogi has told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand? As such, I feel you should know. Know what? Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asogi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial... Oh shit. If he doesn't do well, I fuck up his chances of studying abroad. Way to make me feel bad, man. I'm afraid that permission will be revoked and never granted again. What? Ah, as I suspected, you were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asogi may not have chosen... Why am I doing a visual novel? I read bad. May have chosen not to tell you. Correction, I read bad out loud. I read real good in my head. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered. But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? Because they don't want people going abroad, maybe? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. Or big numbers. Big numbers is also an option. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it, I swear it. I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Ooh, the drama. Sorry? What do you mean? You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway. But then what should I do? My best, obviously. Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that would lead to a conviction. Alright, so... as soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. I do? What, am I getting married? But what will the question be? Surely not. Do you accept the accusations brought before you? Of course not. Defendant! Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. Oh, good. It's not going to tell me what the question is. Would seem our surreptitious discussions are to be cut short. Allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. I have to defend myself? Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get it moving. There's no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you, anyway. This is it. If this trial goes badly, Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. My one and only chance of proving my innocence. The trial that would decide my destiny. Alright. 22nd November, 9 a.m. Supreme Court of... that word, courtroom 2. My brain is not letting me pronounce that. So this is a courtroom. Are you nervous? Are you a little nervous? The Supreme Court of Judicature. That was probably wrong. No court in the land has more power. I don't much I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public. I can read really good in my head. Words don't work. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. The powers that be have demanded this be a secret trial. Oh. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? But why? It'll become clear in time. But for now, you need to concentrate, Ryunosuke. It's about to begin. Fucking ye old Winston Payne. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. As is the defense. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. He's a little nervous. Normal procedure is for the defense advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I'm obligated to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant? Oh shit. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? Oh. And the professor wants me to go, I advocate for myself. This is it. This must be the question. Red text. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. So I've gotta, like, throw my friend under the bus. At least he'll be there for backup. But then, if I say I do... I need to answer quickly. What should I do? Ah, shit. Oh boy. I do. I advocate for myself. Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear who will advocate for— Ah! Oh, that's awkward. This isn't a classroom. You don't need to raise your hand. What is the meaning of this unruly outburst? I would like to inform the court that I, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself. You'll be... What? And then they cut away with the murmuring. What are you playing at, Ryunosuke? Professor Mikitoba told me everything just now, before the trial. He did what? He said your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. How sad. Means you don't have faith in me. You think I won't be able to get you off. Sorry. No, it's not that, really. It's just that... Well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes. I knew that's how you'd feel. Which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikitoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. Well, well. Does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel? Really?
Objection!
Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san? Oh, yes, exactly! Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I am not confident at all. Yike. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered. Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court, you must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed. As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. I can't... That just keeps throwing me, that one word. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo? Yes, Your Excellency. It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken. Oi. Alright. My competence? What does that mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am. Let's start with the very simplest of questions. Oh, yes. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. I just know it was a professor. That's a problem. Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I can remember. But, wait. You forgot because I don't know. I'm so nervous I can't even remember that. What was it again? Ryunosuke. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank. You know me so well. All the relevant information in this case can be found in the court record. Ta-da! But I can't even find that. Tutorials. Yay! You can access the court record with a press of R. Not while you're talking to this guy, apparently. If you ever find you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all in there. Alright, no time to lose. Hey, look! Poor Mr. Wilson. Remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. You better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the People section of the court record, then press X to present. Boop.
Yes!
The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university. Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to Yume University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. And as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. I haven't heard of it, so... you know, there you go. And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial Yume University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor? But I didn't do it. This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court, therefore, wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, isn't it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yeah, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. How many times do we have to repeat that poor Dr. Wilson was an Englishman? But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime. Look at the time, I'd better be going. See you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. It's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant. See you in English. And away he goes, and then crime. The British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think. Wait. I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still, I should go and say hello. So I went over to the professor's table and introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? Well, let's have a look-see. Blood loss. State before the court the cause of death. Can I just... Eh? No, I have to progress a little further. The cause of death. Well, obviously, that was, Ryunosuke. Remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? But how? Gotta love tutorials. Telling me the things I already... I've played other Ace Attorney games. So, I know how these things work. Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death and select present.
Yes!
Enjoy. Well... According to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. Learn to read, you imbecile. That's the post-mortem report, I take it. Sorry, yes, that's right. The post-mortem report. In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. I can do words. Autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. So Sorry, I require a sip of my beverage. This is a lot of words. Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later. This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range. Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record. The photographic print of the victim has been entered into the court record. So that's a photographic print. That's something I've never seen before. I'm sorry, it's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail is incredible. Clack. Very well, I am satisfied with your answers. Let us start the trial. Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better apprise the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened. Oh, this is it then. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor? You mean Dr. Mikatoba? Yes, clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me, but that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant. Ah, of course. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Maybe, but any help you could give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. Well, my first piece of advice is rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Also, when I'm reading Kazuma's name, I keep almost saying Kazuha. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first. Oh, it's the waiter. I see. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please. Of course, my name is Satoru Hosonaga. I am the head waiter at a Western-style restaurant called Le Carnaval. Oh, are you okay? Are you okay? Oh. You seem to be coughing up some, It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me. I think it should, is the thing. Apparently, I have some kind of psychic connection with Ryunosuke here. It really, really should. As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery, 3 days ago. So-called restaurants? Really? Understood. Hosonaga-san, you will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident. At once, sir. And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please. Oh, perspiring maybe, but aspiring? It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We have few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied. That fits in with my memory of it, too. There was hardly anyone else in the place. Good sir. It was when I was in the kitchen, putting away crockery and cutlery. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair, and standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student.
Yes!
Hold on, let me just clarify something here. While I did pick up a gun I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him.
Objection!
I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. You see, that wasn't petty, I'm defending myself is the thing. The court wishes us to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur. But the next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, Defendant Naruhodo. Don't worry, Ryunosuke. You'll have your chance to fight back. For now, we must just quietly listen to the witness. If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we see here in court today. My guy, are you okay? Yes, without question. I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim? No. There was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Huh? Wait, what did he just say? Oh, you remember someone else, do you? There was no one else around that table. What's the matter, Ryunosuke? That's just not right. Sip of beverage. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, there was a woman sitting opposite him at his table. Really? That's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do? I've been warned, so I probably shouldn't. Like, I'm sure there'll be, like, a cross-examination type. Well, I suppose we'll find out. If I fuck up, I can always do it again. I'm going to be a good little defense lawyer. And wait for the cross-examination. I desperately want to say something, but I was told not to interject. Ryunosuke, if your parents tell you to study, you're the kind of man who would diligently get to work, aren't you? I suppose I am. I'd never have gotten into Yunmei University otherwise. But you can't just always follow the rules in life, you know? Oh, my friend's gonna tell me off. If you don't say what you want to say right now, you'll seriously regret it when you're found guilty. This is the tutorial quest, so they are kind of going easy on me. Tutorial trial. Alright, you scared me. I won't forget that piece of advice in a hurry. There is something I want to say. I'm just gonna shut my eyes and say it.
Yes!
Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
Objection!
Dear me, what are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all? But I'm sure of what I saw. Hosonaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy. No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please have a look if you'd like. You see, a sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume. That's right, I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. Well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter. Thank you, sir. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well... Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected up until now. Something certainly seems to have shaken him. Pointing out the hole in his story. The waiter's business card has been entered into the court record. Are you okay? So, the court has now heard a precis of the case. Fucking fancy words. Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant. Sorry, I'm looking. I have Google at my fingertips, so I'm going to look up the fucking fancy words. Precis. A summary. Okay. Précis. Okay. You see, this is why you look up words. You learn how to pronounce them. The only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Well, allow me to add some shades of gray. Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you. In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case to court. But I must warn the defense, if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial. The prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. What do you think I should do, Kazuma? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? Well, you didn't do it, don't plead guilty! Don't be a dumbass. Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual, about these peculiarities. You've said it, Professor Mikotoba's said it, and so has the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Ryunosuke. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see how decisive this evidence really is. Ryunosuke might be a tad bit stressed. Indeed. Prosecutor Ouchi? I was just reading the name and I was not pronouncing it in my head. Ouchie. Please continue with proceedings. Ye old Winston Payne. Well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. Ugh. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witnesses. Very well. Officer, bring forth the witnesses at once. Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. The Great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Iesa Nosa. Reporting for duty, sir. Myself, I find employ as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation Nippon, and conduct my trade from Rasate, a humble premises in the 2nd District, Curio Korakuta, at your service. An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing! Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question. They must be the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned. Myself, I habitually take tea of the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always post-noon, and not infrequently converse with interested parties regarding the curios with which I make my business. I can't understand a word that old man is saying. He's an antique dealer. It sounds like he's a regular at a La Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets La Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele. Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer. Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Is that correct? Affirmative. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war, sir. Was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearms, sir. This man's as impossible to understand as the other. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. This is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. The soldier is claiming that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yes. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start. Now, the court will hear your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw at the precise moment the incident occurred. Sir, yes, sir. Standing by, ready to report. Sir, why is there a baby? Unsavory memories of most acerbic afternoon. What the witnesses saw. I was ingesting a regulation beef steak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian. And from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Alright, I know the evidence to disprove that. I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio. Oh, so you, Sergeant Nosa, actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That wicked university cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgivable enemy. Please put the knife away. What times we live in when an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day. But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone. Is that really true, Ryunosuke? Yes, all I did was pick up the gun I saw lying on the floor. After I said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then, when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant, when I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it, so I bent down, and just as I was picking it up... Oh. Well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal was. There is? Well, yeah. Ryunosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Do it now. As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It is time to bring this despicable student to justice. Certainly, the testimony the court has just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict of the... There it is. Cut him off. You don't have to raise your hand. This isn't a class. What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst? The defense demands its right to cross-examination. Dear me, dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic. Huh? How did he know? The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination?
Objection!
The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Kazuma is so commanding. Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses. Alright, this is where the battle really begins, Ryunosuke. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination. Time for tutorials! Yay! Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witnesses' statements. How? You didn't fire the gun, which means what that soldier said has to be a lie. Well, yes, but it's just a case of proving it. And the key to doing that is evidence. Right, evidence. All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. So, I'm looking through my evidence. Gunshot to the chest. The bullet did not pass through the victim's body. Front in the chest. That. The photograph, probably. Don't let them beat you. Alright. It's all or nothing. See, he was shot from the front.
Yes!
You don't have to raise your hand. It's not a classroom. Did I? What are you playing at, cadet? What's the meaning of this subordination, thrusting some photographic print in my mustache? Inconsistency, sir! I mean, yes. There's a clear inconsistency here. What nonsense. What can this print possibly tell us that we don't already know? Well, obviously, that, I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my... Oh, mood. Huh. I think this proves beyond any doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for an amateur student here in this grand courtroom. So frustrating. Thank you. You're saving my ass. Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court. Kazuma, what? What are you talking about? It's apparent from a single glance at the photographic print presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement. What? Sergeant, yes sir, no sir. I love his name. I'm sorry. Yes sir, what sir? The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Yes sir, affirmative sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir.
Yes!
But no, that just can't be. And why not, cadet? because... Save my ass, please. Take a close look at the print. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it? Oh, I was right, he has a baby. What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again. Certainly, there is a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa? Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were firmly fixed on the delicious La Carnival steak, sir. What? The last testimony heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Yes Sir No Sir, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all. That's absurd. I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom. Oh, turn it around on him. I got a thing. It's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial, just from that one discrepancy? So this is what being an ace attorney is all about. I'm sorry. But I definitely saw him. That university cadet there, he was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back.
Yes!
But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor. And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either? Myself, I have already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Treasure? Indeed, the Hoye-era Koban, my prized coin. On each occasion when I visit that restaurant, it is my habitude to place in my bosom pocket a particular trinket of interest from my shop Rasute, in the hope of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you. On the day under scrutiny, it was to the military man that I proffered my Hoë treasure. Believe that he would purchase such a rare find, I did not, but I was presented with little alternative. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more. It simply vanished. The Koban vanished? Hunting around under the table I was, in case mayhap it had fallen there. And then it happened. You heard the gunshot, you mean? Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with finding my absconded Hoë treasure. Nothing could distract me. Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end? No. I see. That lamentable day, The precious Hoe Koban was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself. As I am sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Resolution, not revolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Ouchie? Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back. My witnesses have further testimony to make. Explain. Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could possibly have committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Ugh. Very well. The court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecutor's allegation. Is that clear? Yeah, that is probably why Kazuma's exchange opportunity rides on it. As clear as Kiriko glass, Your Excellency. Yes, sir. At once, sir. Awaiting signal to testify, sir. Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking out over your shoulder, I think. Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through the ranks. Name, Ido. I don't know. I don't know, sir. It would seem those straps are the sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. Ido, tension! Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy. He's just a little guy. The true culprit. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was just discharged, it's almost the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man he was, that young lad in black, that much I myself did see. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out. Well, shit, I don't know what to present for that. These testimonies are certainly compelling. That's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all. Please, enough of these outbursts already. There was a woman, there was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her.
Objection!
If you call yourself a lawyer, you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. Ugh. I'm actually gonna No, it doesn't show anything that could be. It's evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact. Ah, here we go. A photographic print of the scene of the crime. Indeed, of the table at which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident. As can plainly be seen, there is only one place set. Certainly, based on the appearance of this print, it would be reasonable to conclude the victim was not in the company of anyone else. This doesn't make any sense. The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record. A bottle of carbonated water and a steak lunch can be seen on the victim's table. I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible. No one else saw that woman. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. It's not true. I saw her. I swear I saw a woman with him. It would seem we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witness testimonies we've just heard leave no further room for doubt. These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Takatsuchi Ouchi, will have contributed to the amity of these two great empires is an honor. How can this be happening? Judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. What? If what you say is true, there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth. In your cross-examination! I don't know, Kazuma. The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses, but make it quick, understood? Rules can be so unbending at times. Ugh. Cross-examination. The true culprit. If what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. I thought you were under the table. I was about to leave the restaurant when... kabang. Noticed a gun on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet, so I picked it up. I was pressing because I thought he was under the table. Full of events beyond our control, life is. Thank you, Mr. Yoda. In your case, you found a pistol on the floor and picked it up, which precipitated this testing predicament. Whereas conversely, I failed to pick up the Koban from the floor and found myself in an equally testing predicament as a result. Anyway, the fact remains. Myself, I did see you. With pistol in hand, standing over the foreigner. Okay, I was pushing because I thought I saw him on the floor. Alright, so I'm sort of... Okay, so you can slide back and forth. I'm just gonna press every statement. You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there. As you have been at pains to point out time and again, I feel I'm growing a callus in my ear. And yet, no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. If only there'd been more people dining there at the time, then someone else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. Quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. I know, of course the place was almost empty. It's what you'd expect. Certainly, 2 p.m. is neither here nor there. Sorry. In terms of a time to eat. Wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day, and why he was alone. Phone. Yes, Your Excellency. There was indeed a reason. There was? Oh, see, I'm learning things. This is why you press. This was found in the victim's jacket pocket. What is that, Counsel? It's a medical report card, Your Excellency. Excuse me, Arm, why are you doing that? It would seem the victim had an appointment at a clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. Hata Clinic. Yes, there would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. 19th November, noon to past 1 p.m. The very day of the incident. Oh yeah, that is 3 days before Anyway. So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this as evidence before, because it really has no bearing on the case. I wonder. What do you think, Ryunosuke? Well, it is hard to see how it could be related, really. Well, I mean, depending. He could have been told he shouldn't eat red meat at this medical appointment, and then having a steak would be really weird. Remember, you can request for it to be entered to the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful. Yes?
Yes!
The more evidence, the better. Can you... If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency. On what grounds? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention that the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern.
Objection!
Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues. I beg your pardon? You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence. Very well. The court will grant the defense's request. It looks like every week I'll be doing one case, because this drags. Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing trend. Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record. Alright, can I read it? Even if they don't seem relevant at first. Alright. I can't. Rude. Huh. You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you like. It's the day after the festival already for you. Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witness testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate for the accused, corrector-san. I'm gonna just press every statement because, I didn't fire that gun. We have a difference of opinion on that. The opinion of a uniformed officer versus that of a fledgling cadet. I don't think so. Consider this, defendant. Just a moment ago, I blinked. Did you? Did you see it? Did you see me blink? How could I? And yet, it is an undeniable fact that I did blink. So there you have it. Have what? Tension! The sound of the firearm rang in my ears, and the very next moment, I saw you waving the gun at the Englishman. I think that says it all, don't you? And let us not forget that the antiques dealer witnessed the accused in this most incriminating position as well. Isn't that so, correct-san? I'm just pressing and pressing and pressing. Because I have no idea.
Yes!
What? What did you say, cadet? I clearly remember. The woman! There was a woman sitting across the table from the professor. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed. But for both of you to have failed to see the professor's dining companion? It's just not possible. Unfortunately for you, Defendant Naruhodo, it's not just a case of these two witnesses alone. Sorry? The waiter, whose testimony the court heard earlier, clearly stated the same thing. He also said the victim was alone. That's right. Precisely. In other words, you are the sole proponent of this phantom lady. But if such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. Sorry, I'm just... Shoop. Yes, she is. if I can turn this around. Nope, okay. I'm sorry, I'm just... And if no such proof exists, the prosecution demands that no further mention of this phantom woman be made. It's a blatant waste of the court's time. There's nothing I can say to that. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. We've gleaned some new information now. Well, yes, but I don't feel like it changes much. I can't see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see that medical report card you got before. Oh, you mean this? Yes, this is a brand new piece of evidence. So perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. That's what I was trying to do! Game railroading me. Some pieces of evidence bear a magnifying glass. These are the ones you may examine. Press A and you can take a closer look at the piece in question. Use your sticks to rotate the evidence in all directions and examine it from all angles. Oh. I can't do it with that. By using your left stick, you can magnify parts of it. Move the crosshairs around to hunt for clues that may have been missed before. The crosshairs start to pulsate. Press A to investigate further. So, partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. See if there isn't something new to be learned by examining it in more detail. I'll see what I can do. Sticks and A to inspect any evidence, areas of the evidence that look suspicious. Required for every visit. Mr. John Wilson Hotta Clinic. Oh my gosh, he went to the dentist! Quite some time ago. It's probably a record of long-term treatment, that's why. With a family doctor, I imagine. I can't imagine going to a doctor, I mean. As long as I'm alive, I'm never consulting one. Well, if you were dead, there'd be no point. So, you don't like doctors then? Why would you? They make you drink horrible tasting medicine, give you painful injections, and then they demand lots of money for you from the privilege, all while you're at your lowest ebb. You sound like a model patient. A bad case of stubbornness, no less, for which the only cure is very bitter medicine indeed. Sorry. Just having too much fun. It says Hotta Clinic on this medical report card. I hate clinics, almost as much as I hate hospitals and surgeries. Aren't they all the same? When I was 5, I caught the only cold I've ever had in my life. And I remember, even though I felt awful already, I had to have this hideous injection in my right arm. Ugh. I'll never forget it. Never in my whole life. Most people would give their right arm to have had only one cold in their entire life. Anyway, I don't think this is a clinic where they treat people for illnesses like that. Let's keep looking for clues. We don't want to miss anything. Whoop. Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. Huh, and there's an entry for the day that the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. So I was wrong about it saying he shouldn't eat red meat. But I was right in that he would not be having a steak. Extraction of molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out? It would seem so. Just before the incident, he'd had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they used laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. I've heard of this anesthesia. Oh, it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you feeling pain. Ah, there's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure until anesthetic effects have passed. Really? Sounds like information worth bearing in mind. This new information, the meaning of that one particular statement totally changes. I think it's time we listen to the testimony again, don't you? Definitely. Because he couldn't have been dining. Almost the same thing. This one. Boop, 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 boop. Boop.
Yes!
He was so awkward, my guy. I think, but what are you wittering, lad? Call yourself a lawyer. I wish I could, but first and foremost here, I'm the accused. Ryunosuke, everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. I could see it quite clearly in that cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hand straight up like that, so purposefully, you knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking. All right, and thanks for the advice. Correcto-san. This is a medical report card belonging to the victim. Ah, I see. And? I don't see. What of it, boy? Comparing what is written on this report card with your witness statement, something clearly doesn't add up.
Objection!
Dear me, have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur? Sorry, what? You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel. But, let's see if I can explain in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant. It's very relevant. But that's, remember, Ryunosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Make your point. Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There is surely no need to prolong this trial further. The witness testimonies the court has heard have been clear and concise. This medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all. For the simple reason that there is no one else besides this pale-faced pupil who... This medical report card has nothing to do with the case? Do you really believe that? What? That outburst half petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant? Perhaps because Hata Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic. A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Perhaps if I told you the victim had just had a tooth extracted? What's this now? And furthermore, if I told you that as a result, the victim had been forbidden from eating? Just what are you trying to say, cadet? He had orders not to eat? So what? It's all written up in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while anesthesia wears off. No, that can't... Correct, son. What, boy? What? As you just heard, when he was killed, sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all. No. Additionally, there's more. You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we now know, just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of anesthetic. Expertly done, partner.
Objection!
What is this nonsense, you little upstart? These are baseless accusations. Just look at this photographic evidence. You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table.
Objection!
Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Or can't you follow the logic? How dare you? I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant case have turned. Wouldn't you agree, Ryunosuke? Yes, most definitely. You were so confident a moment before. So having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who, in fact, was eating the pictured beefsteak? The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel? Counsel? Oh, that means me, doesn't it? Alright, the answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of you turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of. Got it. So, the person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been... It was not me. The as yet unknown third party. The Phantom Woman. Someone else who was sitting at the professor's table.
Objection!
You will not let this go, will you? There was no such person.
Yes!
There was, because I saw her. When the incident occurred, we know the victim couldn't have been eating anything. Yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was someone else there eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witness testimonies are unreliable. If the court decides to push through a ruling at this stage, we will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial relentlessly. Very formal complaint he's holding there. Kazuma. Are you insane? You would take on the government? Don't worry, Council. I have no issue with you. What do you mean? I have issue with them. Those two witnesses in the stand. What? What are you talking about? We have demonstrated, with evidence, that the victim was not alone. So, if it now turns out that the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury. Perjury? And, since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing. Complicit in murder? No! Yeah, be dramatic about it. Oh. Negative. There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. Oh, there was a tactical meeting? Did you boys chat with someone? I was just following orders. That's right, as the man says. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they, told us. Oh. What? What did you just say, Correctason? Oh, no. You were just following orders? Now, hold on, lad. I was, say you never saw the gentlewoman? When you say gentlewoman, do you mean you saw the victim with a lady from overseas? What?
Objection!
What is the meaning of all this? These witnesses gave false statements? Is this true, you pair? Just one simple slip of the tongue. Order, order! Council, explain what is going on here. It's painfully clear now. You tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth. Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing of this. Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut? Well, that's classified. So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to this murder, are you? You wouldn't. This can't be happening. Ryunosuke, judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Ouchie had any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there are only a handful of possibilities. It could only have been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose. Well, any ideas about who might be behind this? Probably the government, trying to push the treaty. Of course, we'll need evidence before we make any firm accusations. Evidence that proves whoever it was really did wield his or her power here. But how? How can we possibly? Remember how we made progress before? We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result. Let's have a closer look at that business card. There's no time to lose. Can I? Yeah! Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Well, that's unexpected. What is? Look, do you see it says the witness's name here? Satoru Hosonaga. Yes, business cards do tend to show the person's name. That's sort of the point. It's not the name that's unexpected. It's his job title. His job... Oh! Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. I have no idea. Let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence. If they're wielding it somehow here... Look closer at the sketch. This plan of the restaurant raises a number of questions, I think. Definitely. It's supposed to show the relative position of everything in the moments following the incident. But there's nothing to show the woman you say you saw there. That's not all. Look here in the upper left where it says kitchen. No one would use those complicated characters to write kitchen. Especially not if they were in a hurry. You don't remember those characters yourself, don't you? Study harder. Alright, so we found out the waiter is a liar. So that should be the only thing I need. If it's proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe. Wait, Your Excellency! I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god! I knew nothing! And what does the defense have to say about all this, well, Your Excellency. No time to think. I'm just going to have to close my eyes and shout out the first name that comes into my head. Deep breath. Calm yourself. Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses is... Satoru Hosonaga. Boop.
Yes!
And I have proof! Hosonaga-san? The waiter who took the stand earlier?
Objection!
I have proof! Poppycock! What possible reason would the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention that even a head waiter could not possibly have that level of influence. But a criminal inspector... For once, I would agree with you. If, that is, the man truly were a waiter. What? If he truly were... Come on, Ryunosuke. Time to hit this court with the truth. As proven by this evidence. Boop.
Yes!
The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question. Flip it over. I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure if we can conclude anything. Sorry, Your Excellency. It's the back of the card. The back of the card that's of interest. Flip the card over. The front? Yes, it's the front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is. It's the front of the back of the card. Turn the card over. Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Hosonaga-san sketched the plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession. His true profession. The waiter's profession? But that's surely... Good gracious! That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads, Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. The waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before? The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power. Absolute power, as far as regular civilians are concerned. So, witnesses there in the stand. Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd seen this foreign gentlewoman at the scene? Well... Waiter jump scare. Inspector Hosonaga. I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. So that's why he was so nervous about it. Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It is my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake. So, you mean to say you really are a detective? Plot twist. Why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter? Ah, of course. Your salary must be... I was working undercover. His salary is fine. He was undercover. Undercover? Yes, there have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter, working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? That would be classified police information, which I am not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga, but you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We have just heard new information from the two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly, you would also have been aware of this person's presence, having served the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other diner. Therefore, I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct? Correct, Your Excellency. Unbelievable. As I suspected. As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady whom I guessed to be an Englishwoman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the Bureau. It was then that I received some special orders. Special orders, you mean to say? Remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once. It was made clear the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders. But what if this Englishwoman was the killer? I think it would be in everyone's best interests to not pursue that idea. The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishman has been murdered on our soil. To name an Englishwoman as the primary suspect, well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case. But it's not right! I have brought an awkward silence upon the court. Even Kazuma's just like, ooh, you shouldn't have said that, buddy. One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Kazuma? Yume University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain. And I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying in the medical faculty's research laboratory, is a young Englishwoman. What? You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean, when I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. The court demands you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. The Englishwoman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Giselle Brett. She is indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory of Yume University's medical facility. What is happening here? I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene, and ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. It must now be up to Your Excellency to decide how to deal with this situation. Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise, namely that the victim was dining alone. However, as we have now discovered, this premise is false. It would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point.
Objection!
But, Your Excellency, that would mean missing the noon deadline of a ruling in order to send the telegraphic report to Great Britain. Our own government will surely be very displeased by such actions. Calm yourself, Counsel. I will not allow the government of our country, or any other, to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes, sir? You will locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency. But that means you'll be going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau. As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. So, it won't be a problem? Don't die. Nothing will get in my way. Court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the English student Giselle Brett to the witness stand. Do I make myself clear? Yes. Your Excellency! Good, then we will have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. To be continued. Apparently. I would love to save. Second of November, 11:38 a.m. Supreme Court of Judici Defendant's Antechamber 5. Fucking that one word. I'm gonna look up the pronunciation. Just so I stop sounding like an idiot. Judicature. Okay. Dang brain. Judicature. Defendant's Antechamber 5. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. That was superb. Oh, my heart was in my mouth the entire time. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there. You were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, you'd started finding inconsistencies in the testimonies. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. Forget it. It's terrifying. If I get through this, I don't want to ever see the inside of a courtroom again. Anyway, looks like we've exposed your phantom lady at last. Miss Giselle Brett, a student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There's a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I may not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are one thing I am sure of. I can see that. So, about this young gentlewoman. Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself, and on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor, and just after I bent down and picked it up, bang. Keeps having to go over that. I didn't have time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me looking as white as a sheet, and he bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. Fast thinking by the detective, he apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, and because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside in the dining area. Ah, there you are. Well done, both of you. Professor Mikatoba. Seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say. Yes, it seems you planned this from the start. You arranged things so I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy, our justice system even more so. Which is why I firmly believe that we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. Well, makes no difference. Lawyer or otherwise, if I'm the kind of man who can't help his best friend avert the worst crisis of his life. I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway. What are you saying, Kazuma? So that's your stance. I was afraid you'd feel that way. Kazuma! Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young man. To me? Yes, you need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. Must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case. To think of it, he said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't he? If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim? Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visiting professor at UMA. And it was I who invited him. Oh, snap. I see. I didn't know that before. Anyway, you're about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain, and a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible. But let's not forget who we're going up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement our police bureau went to extraordinary lengths to hide. Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to quash your case. I've no doubt you pair will put up a good fight right to the last. Best of luck. Thank you. Now then. I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need. Of course. Good luck, Kazuma-sama. Ooh, she respects him. Defendant Naruhodo. Court recess is over. Please make your way back inside the courtroom at once. It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. Let's go in there and deal a decisive blow before those old fossils know what's hit them. Kazuma? What? Thank you. Really? What for? Well, if you hadn't said you believed me, then I'm fairly sure I'd already have been found guilty by now. Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer and as a friend. Coming from you, that means a lot. If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really going to give up on his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. So this isn't just my battle anymore. more. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. The drama. Alright then. I'll save the thank yous for after the trial. You can treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from Yume Cafeteria on University Street. With an extra large portion, of course. May 2nd November, 12:09 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 2. The court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Prosecutor Ouchi, have you managed to subpoena the witness? Yes, Your Excellency. Against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, the prosecution is now under painful scrutiny from the government. Sorry. Let the government scrutinize. That's their job. It's nothing to worry about. It's highly unlikely that the good relations we've forged with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Will you still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down and our nation founders? Again, terribly sorry. If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. You really have nothing to worry about, Ryunosuke. What do you mean? A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinions, a bundled investigation, missing witnesses. Is this what our nation's justice system is? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England? Shut up! Shut up, you jumped-up rookie boy! You and your friend know nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in. By aligning ourselves with this great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures. I won't deny I'm no expert, I'm just a student, and one who could arguably study harder too. But standing here now in our Supreme Court, there's one thing I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all. Well said, Ryunosuke. Despite the wide-eyed look of terror. You little brats! Thank you, Counsel. This court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system and exists solely for the pursuance of truth. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. The visiting student from Great Britain, Miss Giselle Brett. Yes. Your Excellency! I like her hat. I wouldn't wear her hat, but it's a very fabulous hat. What a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan, and from such a distant land. Tea! Someone bring English tea! In England, no discussions take place without tea! Really? Is that true? No idea. So, could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court? Of course. My name is Or Hosonaga. I've been working undercover as the head waiter at Le Carnival, but my troop... We know about you already. Inspector Hosonaga, where are your manners? In England, it's always ladies first. Is that true? No idea. More importantly, a little earlier today you said something to me. You said your powers of observation are the one thing you're sure of. Oh, yeah, I think I did, didn't I? Yet your description for this amazing sight was simply a woman. Sorry, Ryunosuke, but powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking. Guilty. So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please. She's speaking a foreign language. I don't know if it's English or French, but... I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but... What? The lady says her name is Giselle Brett. She comes from London, England. I'm gonna just... She's a visiting research student currently enrolled in Yume University's medical faculty. I was looking at the history, by the way, to judge her, like, answering the question after it was translated to answering the question before it was translated, and they matched. So... Oh my, what a rare treat to hear the dulcet tones of the delightful language of the British people. I'm afraid I don't understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird's song. As far as I can tell, the detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Yeah, I agree. You'll obviously do fine in England, Kazuma. Her English doesn't rattle you at all, does it? Nor you. You've clearly been paying attention in your English classes, Ryunosuke. The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago, at a restaurant called Le Carnival, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? She says yes. That was a lot more words than yes. This could take some time. So even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese. She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says she was due to make a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately. Interesting, when you're the one who engineered her escape. I was just following special orders from the Bureau. Well, now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over this photographic print? seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent eyes caught sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps? Apparently, it was a very frightening and sorrowful sight. You mean to say? Yes, it would appear the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in the courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. I think she is the one who had the gun. Order. Order in court. Did you hear that, Your Excellency? We have an absolutely conclusive witness statement. Uh-huh. Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is. It's the girl with the swan hat. Unfortunately, I will have to ask you to formally testify, if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described. A frightening and sorrowful sight. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beefsteak. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor, and they got in a furious argument. Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. This is a condemning testament. No, I didn't have any kind of argument with the professor at all.
Objection!
Quiet, you filthy wretch. Look at you, you black-hearted blackguard, and look at this snow-white angel. I'm sure even a dark-minded scoundrel like you can imagine whose words the court is going to believe. Ugh. You're still making the same mistakes, Ryunosuke. You mustn't blurt out when you're goaded like that. That's a lesson you need to learn. But he's so annoying. Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from this lady and the two witnesses who testified before, and reported back to the bureau. It was decided Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. Testimonies of the last two witnesses were completely worthless, however. Well, even so, on the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. As you can see, there is nowhere about her person where she could conceal a firearm. I would think she could hide a gun almost anywhere in that outfit if she wanted to. Yeah, under the hat, the little feathery bustle, like there's a lot of spots. Especially if it was just a little one. Unless and until the precise location where the witness is to have hidden a weapon can be shown, this is moot. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. Take off your hat. Prove it. Those are the witness's own words on the matter. It's ridiculous. If only I was allowed to lift up her dress, I could... Sir. I love how I immediately went to the hat and he's like, if I could lift up her dress. Don't think about doing anything rash, Ryunosuke. I didn't fire the gun I picked up. There must have been another gun there that day. You're right about that, which means this lady was hiding a gun somewhere. That's what we have to prove now. To do so, we will need to pull her testimony apart. Oh, I saw that smirk. Yes, Your Excellency. I believe I picked the gun up off the floor. So how did it end up on the floor? So I'm going to press this.
Yes!
We are pressing. I did not shoot. Damn it. Attacked by my own side. Yes, defendant, you can't deny. When the shot rang out in the restaurant, you had a gun in your hand. Yes, that's true, but all I did was pick up the gun I saw on the floor next to the professor as I was leaving the restaurant. In fact, yes, was someone much closer to the victim at me at the time the highway.
Objection!
Yeah. That will do, you dirty, rotten scoundrel. Dirty? Your baseless accusations could very well cause an international incident, boy. It seems to me that your accusation is just as baseless as ours. The lady is merely stating what she saw. This is already an international incident as far as I'm concerned anyway. Alright. I pressed. Again, I'm just gonna press everything because I'm not sure what I should.
Yes!
I never got in an argument with the professor. All I did when I noticed him was go over to say hello. Don't get angry with me. No, I wasn't directing that retort at you. It was meant for the lady next to you. But anyway, as I said, I did not argue with the professor. I'm afraid your words are in vain. Sorry? Miss Brett does not appear to speak Japanese. Which is possibly why she is pretending I got in an argument. No, of course not. Japanese is such a cumbersome language anyway. English is the future. We must all speak English. I wonder if the prosecution will feel that way forever or only in the presence of a beautiful woman. Oh, that beautiful woman is telling blatant lies with a completely straight face. I have to find something that will unravel her testimony, no matter how seemingly insignificant it may be. Anyway, it seems that after the argument, the accused briefly returned to his own seat. Part ties in with what you said, doesn't it? Yes, I still had some coffee to drink. Next time you got up after that was when I'd finished my coffee and stood up to leave. I see that smirk, bitch. Alright, we are pressing everything. Oh, nope, not that button.
Yes!
That button. After 2 p.m., in fact, that's really quite a late lunch, isn't it?
Objection!
You don't keep up with the latest fashions from Britain, do you? Late luncheons are en vogue, isn't that right? Oh, no. Ugh. A decisive English no has quite a sting to it. Gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research laboratory, it seems. So it was apparently a daily occurrence that they would lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment at the clinic first. Which we can prove from the medical report card that was submitted as evidence earlier. That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which was why it was so late. Yes, that all makes perfect sense. Such wonderful logic. What a shining example of English intelligence this fine gentlewoman is. I just realized... Did he translate? So you both arrived at the restaurant. What happened next? I am pressing everything. Just... because I can. Because this is a tutorial.
Yes!
And like, I don't... We are aware of this. Supposed to actually check with the witness before answering? Was Miss Brett aware of that fact? It seems so, yes. She'd heard the professor was to have some dental treatment. So that would mean... That was you who ate the steak pictured here. Is that right, Miss Brett? That's right, yes. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was left after the horrifying events. Exactly as it was left. Dear me, what a harrowing experience to have traveled to a distant island on the far side of the world and be embroiled in such a tragic incident. Have no fear, my dear lady. I swear I will crush the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible plight. So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all? That's right, other than some carbonated water. Just water? Yes, the professor was unable to eat, but had been given permission to drink water. So it appears the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each. They each raised a glass of carbonated water. What do you think, Ryunosuke, about the witness's last statement? It's very meaningful, because this picture only has one glass. Where's the other glass? If they both had a glass, where's the other glass? My statement of yours, Miss Brett, has a profound bearing on this case. Well, well, how fascinating. Do tell us, what is this profound bearing, huh? I know. Do you know? The significance of the statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness's last statement to be formally added to the testimony. Well sidestepped, counsel. Very well, Miss Brett. Kindly repeat what you just said to be added to your official testimony. Gladly, she said. It was brilliant, Kazuma. I'm gonna remember that one. Which one? The significance will become apparent when the time is right. I could really use that phrase. I'd hope there are some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that, Ryunosuke. Alright, so... bottle of carbonate. Where's the other glass, though? Oh, geez, I skipped. She's maintaining that you got into an argument with the professor, at the end of which you shot him. Which is an out-and-out, totally unfounded lie. Still, her statement is very compelling. After all, she's an elegant, refined, young and beautiful gentlewoman from Great Britain. In stark contrast to you, dressed from head to toe in a dull black school uniform. Dressed exactly the same way you are, except for flapping red ribbons. Anyway, this is our only chance to expose her testimony as the fiction that it is. If we can't do that, the trial's over. Even you, with your thick skin, must be able to feel the murderous looks you're getting from around the room. Only too well. I feel half dead already. The fact that I can't see a single inconsistency in her testimony isn't making me feel any better either. First thing to do is to press her on any of her statements that seem even slightly off to you. Do that and an opening will present itself, I promise you. Alright, at least it put me back in the pressings. I pressed that. Press that after. I've pressed that. Got that one. So let's press this one. And then we'll press the carbonated water again. Can you prove it? Absolutely. I verified it personally. You verified it? Yes, immediately after the incident, I checked to make sure the lady was not carrying a weapon. I distinctly remember her saying, "I'm not." Yeah, but did you, like, actually check? Physically? Did you look under her hat? That's all you did? You just asked her? Surely you carried out a physical search, Inspector. No. Why on earth not? The Honorable English gentlewoman clearly stated that she did not possess a weapon. There was obviously no need for any further probing into the matter. Or there was no permission given for any further probing into the matter, perhaps. Think what you will, but if you're going to continue with this preposterous claim that the refined lady was concealing a firearm, the prosecution demands you support your assertion with facts. In other words, he wants evidence. Ugh. The lady wishes to point out, of course, she wanted to stay and assist with the investigation. She was in a hurry to give a presentation at the university, so she was compelled to leave. Not to mention the fact your office had told you to get the woman out of there. Not get her out of there, I just urged her to leave. The lady would like to point out that she in no way meant to run away from the scene of the crime, which is why she is only too happy to cooperate and testify here in court today, of course. Unlike a certain student who refuses to admit when the game is up. Could at least have the courtesy to pay attention to me when I'm goading you. So she's maintaining that you got into an argument with the professor at the end of Just bringing the pressing up again. Alright, so we will press the statement about the carbonated water again. And then maybe we could present the picture of the scene of the crime where there is only one glass.
Yes!
Both you and the professor drank this carbonated water, did you? Yes, being the waiter, I poured the 2 glasses myself. I clearly remember doing so. Except you're actually a detective. And the beefsteak? That was for you, Miss Brett? The lady says that she'd heard it was not customary to eat beef here until Japan opened its doors to the world. Yes, that's true. What a frightful place is the lady's opinion. And I've heard it's not customary to eat sashimi in Great Britain. Now that's frightful. Every country has its own cuisine. As long as people have food to eat, what does it matter what it is? True, come to think of it. The first time I tried carbonated water, it was much more of a shock than the first time I tried beef. Anyway, back to this witness's statement. Somehow, I feel there's something out of place in what she's saying. We need to pounce on even the slightest thing now, as you never know what might lead us to our goal. Our goal of turning this trial around. Understood, Kazuma? So, this also only shows 1 glass, but it doesn't show the whole table. It doesn't say carbonated water on the drink. The carbonation might have... Anyway. A single glass? Or did you both have a glass? Because this photo only shows 1. If I fucked up, I have more lives. Sit! Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was exactly as it was left. That is correct, the lady says. Well, it's odd. Very odd. Dear me, what's odd is the defense's inability to express itself. Ryunosuke, what is it about the print that looks odd to you? Obviously, it's the cheers. The cheers? Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be 2 glasses on the table, not 1. You're quite right, Counsel. There's only one glass picture here.
Objection!
Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over minutiae? What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case?
Objection!
Minutiae, you say? Could it be the detective here removed a glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not! I would never do something so reckless. There should have been 2 glasses on the table. Or are you going to try and tell me you can clink with only 1? You're quite right. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. Inspector, what did the lady say? It would seem it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table. What? It was all so terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide the fact I'd been there at all, she's saying. Good gracious. Sorry. There, as I assured the court before, this is of no consequence at all. Oh, please. We must remember that this student had just murdered this lady's luncheon companion before her very eyes. Who could blame her for concealing a glass or 2 in her state of disarray? It's absurd. Oh, really? So do we take it that you are now going to accuse this vulnerable, young, and beautiful woman of mischief? What? No. This can't be put down to mischief. I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. When she says she has no pockets? Would seem she slipped it into a small handbag she was carrying. What else could have been in the handbag? Could it perhaps have been a gun? A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency, a small handheld pouch, commonly carried by well-to-do women in England. So the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene now. However, the fact that remains, this glass has absolutely no bearing on the case. Well, it does, because we now found out she has a handbag. This student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning, but in the end, it comes to nothing. No more pretentious accusations. You have wasted enough time already. Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed this glass. I think henceforth we can consider the matter have no bearing on the case. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? Well, I don't know, really. If you want to pursue this matter further, you're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance. Yes, you're right. She took the glass away in her handbag. If there's a deeper significance there, it's the handbag. Wait, the lady put the glass in her handbag, you say? Yes, do try to keep up. It's already been explained to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items. You see, a little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. and the audio drops. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag, in which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. You're right. Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too. What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard? It's really very simple. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire that gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will. You can't seriously be suggesting... Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Did you or did you not search Miss Giselle Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir, I did not. As I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag. No! Order, order, order! What is the meaning of this, Inspector? The meaning of what, Prosecutor Ouchie? Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations. Brilliant work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. Do you think so, Kazuma? You seem to be dying. What a sorry situation. Clearly, you have no faith in the police. As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting, simply because it was unnecessary. Unnecessary in what way? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. This photographic print. The print is of a photograph I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. What is that bowl on his wrist? As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. I never can see right through to what's inside. That's why I was saying under her hat. So that is a very flamboyant hat, and that swan could hide a lot of things. That's right. Apparently, meshwork bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment. So the contents are clearly visible. Exactly, so there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. As you can see, there's nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. Thank you for helping to prove that, Naruhodo-san. Order? Inspector Hosonaga, you will submit that print as evidence at once. Certainly, Your Excellency. The photograph of the handbag has been entered into the court record. I think you've had long enough to cross-examine the witness counsel. Can I? What is... Fine then, be that way. The court has now been shown considerable evidence. As the photographic print just submitted into the court record appears to have no further significance, I think it does. There's a cow. I am satisfied that there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Indeed, and there is only one logical conclusion. That the pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime. No, just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around. I'm in a worse situation than I was at the start. Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. Now the cross-examination of the witness is over. There's no way to force the trial to continue. You mean this is it? I must say, you put up quite a fight for a rookie student, but the weak are meat, while the strong eat. You were wasting your time. There's no way to defeat true justice. A fact you can chew on to your heart's content from the inside of your cell. This can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime I didn't commit? And Kazuma, his dream of going to study in Great Britain will slip through his fingers. Kazuma, what? Is there really no chance now of turning this trial around? You heard the judge. There's nothing about that last photograph the detective produced that we can contest. Which means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue. I saw something! Game, let me say I saw a thing. I will now proceed immediately to the ruling. It seems we will be able to report to the British government on time after all. Smug little. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, having considered all the... Oh. His powers of observation. Wait, Your Excellency. Ryunosuke? I don't think you can rule on this case yet.
Objection!
This amateurness is getting tedious. What His Excellency deems the trial is over, he gives his ruling. That is the most basic protocol of the courtroom.
Yes!
Your Excellency, just a moment ago you said this. As the photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance, there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Now that means if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail, I mean, then ruling on the case at this time would be out of the question.
Objection!
This is blatant straw clutching. Look at this photographic print. All it shows is the handbag the gentlewoman was carrying on the day in question. Can be no problem with this evidence. But there can. You'd better know what you're doing, Ryunosuke. I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly, the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court's scrutiny. However, I fail to see how we can glean any new information from this handbag. You see, it's not the handbag I'm pointing out. Ha! My thoughts exactly. Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes. I am desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. There's something about this photograph which just doesn't seem right. If only I could put my finger on it. Very well, I will grant the defense one final opportunity. What? But be warned, if I am unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect. Do I make myself clear? Yes, Your Excellency. So, take another look at the photographic print Inspector Hosonaga submitted before. You will identify for the court where in this print we see the significant detail to which you have alluded. I hope I'm right. Go!
Yes!
Look at this here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description.
Objection!
Dear me, I was pondering what new piffle you would come out with. A burn, you say, on the victim's wrist? Clearly, that has nothing to do whatsoever with the magnificent lady's handbag. Yes, that is a burn mark, you're right. Go on, Inspector. The police coroner also noticed when he was performing the post-mortem examination. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't note it in his report. What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either. The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this mark. However, as Prosecutor Ouchie pointed out, unless a firm connection to the case can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise details of this burn. Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Miss Brent has a lunch appointment with the Dean and other university staff. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stands now. Oh, of course, dear lady. We shan't hold you up any longer. Quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway. What's your thinking on this, Ryunosuke? Do you believe this burn does have something to do with the case? To be honest, I'm not really sure, but if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So I was thinking I should keep digging in the hope I might uncover something useful. Yes, you're right. I am? If we can just link that burn to the case, we can do that. We might be able to prise this shutting door back open again. Just give up, Counsel. You can't possibly hope to do that. Indeed, I'm afraid without evidence I can't allow you to pursue what is little more than conjecture. If we had evidence that irrefutably linked the burn on the victim's wrist to the case, then you would allow it? I would, yes. Tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. As soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the color draining from Miss Brett's face. Really? To find some link between that burn and the case. This is the moment of truth. It's time to find some evidence that proves what that burn really means. The defense will now present its evidence to the court. The evidence that demonstrates an inextricable connection between the victim's burn and this trial. Alright, I've gotta... This!
Yes!
What's this, Council? Yet another print? Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at a scene, we miss things. But in a photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore. Do hurry up, Rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further would be quite inexcusable. Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer if you don't mind, Miss Brett. You see, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How?
Objection!
Let me point it out. Come on. You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. If that's your game, then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean. What is it in the photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn? Trying to target very precisely.
Yes!
Right there. The beefsteak? Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. The plate? Your Excellency, are you alright? As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of Le Carnaval. The emblem on the plate and the victim's burn are exactly the same shape. Rinosuke, you genius! You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant.
Objection!
But even if that is the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. It could have been the day before or the day before that. It most likely happened at some other unrelated time. Well,
Objection!
Thank you. Sadly, Prosecutor Ouchie, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks. Why? The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly. But I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. This was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. It's inconceivable that the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I have not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of Le Carnaval, I can testify to that without hesitation. But you're a detective, not a waiter?
Yes!
There you have it. Something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. I know I yelp on a piping hot plate for 1 second. There's no question of that. And yet, Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream, not on that day or any before it. That's right, and the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate or anything like for anything like 3 seconds that day, that would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel. And the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer, all of us would, without any question, have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Ouchie? Well, yes, I suppose. So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson's scream? I almost don't believe it. Ryunosuke, do you think... Can it really be true? I never dreamt we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but I'm starting to think that maybe we've been led into a terrible trap. There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson was already dead. No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. That's clearly impossible. Apart from in one particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting? Yes, it's only possible if the man was already dead. Already dead? Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead. Poisoned! What, from the carbonated water? Possibly. And then shot to cover it up. Order, 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 please! Counsel, explain this absurd notion at once. The victim was killed by a gunshot. In Japan, the police officers only look over the body. In England, they do an autopsy. That's right. That's absolutely right, Your Excellency. This is just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student. Clearly, he has no grasp of the facts.
Objection!
No, Prosecutor Ouchie, it's you who has no grasp of the facts. I beg your pardon? As soon as it became apparent that the victim has suffered that burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again. If it's true, as we now believe the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it's highly likely Miss Brett knows something about it. Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement. But, Your Excellency! The justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I'm prepared to pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency. She's smiling. Why is she smiling? Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help. especially if it helps relations between my country and yours. So she does speak Japanese. Oh, goodness. Miss Brett, you speak Japanese? Well, of course I do. I am studying in your country, after all. But then, why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now? My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible. But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen. So I can see I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level. Oh, well, you are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. We are truly honored by this lavish consideration you so graciously afford us. I see. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words about the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. So, we're finally going to hear her own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryunosuke. Witness testimony. The victim's quote-unquote death. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I have heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken in without leaving a trace, please do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway. Alright, I will press on pretty much everything again. Most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in the Supreme Court's history. Thank you. Easy does it. I hope that is the last time I will have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue. Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone. Not at all, not at all. It is delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady. It seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant. I'll be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today. The Minister of Justice? May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen. Huh? Thanks? Was that a prayer then? Well, you'll have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with a cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed this little bully of a student, as you've put it. Doesn't miss much. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness's testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear? Wake yourself up. You got this. Yes, Your Excellency. You may proceed with the cross-examination. Gotta put the pressure on. Press everything.
Yes!
Press! Let me ask you something. Sorry? Ever since I arrived at this courtroom, and even still now, the fly on those unsightly black trousers of yours has been wide open. You can't not have noticed, can you? Huh? What? Ah! Has his fly in fact been down? Haha, what fun! You hadn't realized? The dear lady's absolutely right. As your friend, you've embarrassed me as well as yourself, Ryunosuke. Why didn't you tell me? Dr. Wilson was a true English gentleman. He chose honorable silence over a vulgar scream. Can your tiny brains imagine such a thing? Oh, yes, I think my tiny brain can. I can't? Anyway. Okay. I'm pressing everything just, like, to make sure I don't miss anything, okay?
Yes!
Okay. As you testified before, you were drinking carbonated water, is that right? Dr. Wilson was only permitted to drink water at the time, if you remember. Which explains why he ordered that drink, correct, waiter? Exactly as you say, sir. Although? Whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to the table, I'm afraid I don't remember that. Damn you. Ah, I have enough English to understand that, at least. For the benefit of others in the court, it means bless you. You don't know English at all, do you? I think it means the exact opposite. Anyway. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report shows no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. I'm looking... There's no exit wound. That's not relevant, really. Still pressing!
Yes!
Whee! Yes, it's written here in the paperwork. Fatal hemorrhage from ballistic trauma. Yes. Luckily for all of us, a little burn on the wrist isn't going to kill us. And as there were no other signs of trauma on the victim's body to indicate some other cause of death, it can only have been the bullet from your gun that put an end to this innocent man's life. It doesn't make sense. The burn must have happened straight away when the plate was first brought to the table by the waiter. That's true. If it had cooled even slightly, it wouldn't have been able to make a burn like that. And if the victim burnt his wrist on the hot plate as soon as it was brought out from the kitchen, he must have already been dead at that point. And yet, the fact is that the victim was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Until you're able to show the court evidence to disprove that, that is a complete waste of time. I concur. Prosecutor Ouchie is right. Ah. I'm looking at the picture of the victim. Fatal hemorrhagic trauma. Where's all the blood? There's like no blood. I understand that this is a game and they probably can't show a lot of blood, but... in previous games, there has been stuff like bloodied statues put into the evidence, and there's been like actual blood in the imagery. I know in previous games isn't much of an argument, but and wouldn't you know,
Yes!
because you're in the medical, without leaving a trace? Someone is shot, or strangled, or stabbed, or thrown from a height. However a person's life is taken, there are always telltale traces on the body. Quite right, dear lady. And as our police force has thoroughly examined the body of the deceased, there can be no doubt. Isn't that right, Inspector Hosonaga? As I've said, I always aim for a flawless investigation. Would be physical traces with all those causes of death, that's true. Maybe there's some other way of killing someone that doesn't leave a mark. I say poison in the water. If, heaven forbid, you doubt me, young man, you're going to have to tell everyone how exactly you think the professor did lose his life. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls rather flat, doesn't it? Oh no, perish the thought, calling such a sweet young lady's innocence into question. On my honor, I, Takatsuchi Ouchi, will cut down any who dare cast such aspersions. Way of killing someone that leaves no trace. Need some evidence to back us up here. Evidence. Of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway. Had a tooth out. He couldn't in his mouth. That might throw my idea that he's already dead, though. I still say poison. I can't prove it, though.
Yes!
Press every statement. Inferior? What do you mean by that? In the lands of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at a crime scene for later examination. In this country, you investigate once and that's the end of it. Isn't that so? Quite right. Le Carnaval is open for business as usual today, just days after the incident. Exactly. Which means even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost. It doesn't even occur to your naive detectives to try and preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be as tactful about this as I can, you understand? Standing right next to a detective saying all that. A killer blow. The lady is as formidable as she is beautiful. Amazing. He's actually admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Ouchie is finally starting to see sense. I very much doubt that. Still, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. There was a moment before when something didn't seem quite right. You alright there, Hosonaga? What do you think, Ryunosuke? Think it's going terribly? No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information. As I suspected, she's a tough witness. Need to find a way to break her testimony or the cross-examination will be over. That would mean I have to find a way. Must be some clue somewhere to help us find a chink in her armor. Kazuma. What, Ryunosuke? There is one thing I noticed. Something that's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. About the person standing next to her, Inspector Hosonaga. The detective? Yeah, he seems to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. Was wondering if it might be significant. If it might present an opening, maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time. Few think so, but this time, instead of targeting the woman herself, let's see what we can get out of the detective. Alright then. I wonder what Kazuma's thinking. Find out soon enough, I suppose, once I press Miss Brett on her last statement again. On the last statement.
Yes!
What do you mean by that?
Wait.
There it is again. The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why? Until now, the detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. Things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the Englishwoman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you'll find they often let their guard down. Right, look at him. He's lost in his own thoughts. It's time to pursue the man and his train of thought. Sorry, pursue? Explain how to do it now, Ryunosuke. It's all to do with the witness marker. Oh, wow. Moment we're focused on Miss Brett, who's the person making the current statement. By moving the marker left and right with the D-pad, you can turn your attention to other people in the stand. While you're looking at the other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them with A. If you can catch the person at just the right time, you might uncover some new information to pursue. If you ever notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people on the stand, take a good look around. Move the marker and focus on the detective. Pursue him and see what's on his mind. Here we go.
Wait.
Pursue. Excuse me. Pardon me. What's the meaning of this? So sorry, I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his thoughts. Deeply. Looked like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had to say. If there's something you'd like to say, please share with the court.
Objection!
What is the meaning of this? It's the delightful Englishwoman who's testifying at the moment. If you can't find fault with her testimony, the cross-examination should be over immediately. Is that how it works? Absolutely not. The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness. Yes, not to mention the fact that he's intimately involved with the case. Inspector Hosonaga? Yes? Do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett? Well, yes, if you don't mind, I would like to speak. The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain. Which is why I, Satoru Hosonaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless. What do you really mean by that? I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. A crime scene thief? Looks like the lady's remarks touched a nerve there. Take this, for example. Is that... This is the bottle of carbonated water I took to the victim's table on the day in question. And yes, it's lost all of its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says. Some left in the bottle, I can see it. One day our police force will be among the best in the world. The time is coming, I guarantee it. I can't say I condone the witness's actions, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept the glass bottle of water as evidence. Miss Brett? Can you confirm this is indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death? Yes, it was that bottle. What was that about? She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question. Very well. Counsel, you may resume the cross-examination. And the inspector will kindly control his fervor. Now, this does have a magnifying glass. So, the label is written in a foreign language I don't recognize. Do you know what it says, Kazuma? I think it's French. This must be very expensive water. What does it say? That's what I was asking. Go to France and ask. You could just say that you don't know. I am inspecting the water. So this carbonated water is the last drink Dr. Wilson ever had. Looks like there's a little left in the bottle. Well, it's just plain water now. Now, I've been sweating so much, I'm absolutely... Don't drink the evidence. For one thing, I suspect it may be poisoned. Just have a sip of this to keep me going. No, Ryunosuke. Can't do that. One thing, that's evidence. Can't go drinking evidence. Oh, no, you're right. We don't know what may be inside, do we? You never cease to amaze me, Ryunosuke. more ways than one. I wonder, could there be anything in this water? What's the matter? You've gone quiet all of a sudden. I think I might have just worked something out. An interesting possibility. Would it be the same dialogue if I inspected the water again? Yep, okay. Alright. So now I can present it. Yeah? Please tell me I'm right.
Yes!
The bottle of water? Actually, there is one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. That's right, bitch. I'm not as backward as you think. Obviously, I'm referring to poison. Poison? On the day of his death, we know Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass? Could it be that you, Miss Brett, took his glass instead of your own? Order, order, order! And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink? There's only one person who could have possibly done it. Giselle Brett. It was you.
Objection!
This is outrageous to suggest such a thing without a scrap of evidence. You little rookie imbecile, have you considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now? Have you forgotten we only just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire? Have you the vaguest inkling that your rash accusations could jeopardize the entire treaty?
Objection!
This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one individual's guilt with respect to one crime. The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth. If I may, I will silence you forever for this. Shh. Oh! It is you who should be silent. Of course. Dear lady! Where did that come from? She just snapped. I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies. Sorry, my lady, to what are you referring? I described your police force as inferior. No matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I mean, Inspector, and whether it contained poison or not. Of course. You did? Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time. Don't believe it. Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents. But did you test the glasses? And what did you find, Inspector? I ordered tests for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. We could find no trace of poison of any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency. Are you sure? The tests were meticulously carried out by the chief coroner himself. No! See, I'm getting ahead of the game. I'm very grateful to all you Japanese. You've successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Not yet. Thank you. But of course, dear lady, the pleasure was all ours. I was so sure. This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned. Thank you, counsel. I think that cross-examination has clarified everything. As the prosecution have asserted, a shot to the chest from this gun is the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore, the accused, who by his own admission was holding this weapon, is the only possible culprit. I'm done for. The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience this has caused you, Miss Brett. Oh, no, I'm just glad the matter is resolved. Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for the defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present the court at this point? Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. I have nothing more. If you'll excuse me now, I really must be leaving.
Hold it!
Whomst! Yeah! The Deus Ex Machina! Please, wait. Isn't that... What is the meaning of this? Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense. Mikotoba. In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand, she carried a small package, wrapped in fur sheet cloth. To be continued next week, because I'm going to wrap up the stream here. It's longer than I'd usually go anyway. Anyway, I will see everybody on Monday for some Ocarina of Time. Oh, wait, no, I'll see everyone tomorrow. I forgot I was doing a bonus stream tomorrow. I will be doing some Wuthering Waves. See everyone tomorrow. Dun dun. And then I'll wrap up tomorrow's stream with see everybody on Monday. Ta-da!